Welcome to Real Deal. I'm Tara.
And I'm Giselle.
And today we are talking about the power of Glen Powell.
Woo.
If you feel it, chase it. We're talking about Twisters today. 2024, directed by Lee Isaac Chung. Chase, ride, survive. As storm season intensifies, the paths of former storm chaser Kate Carter and reckless social media superstar Tyler Owens collide when terrifying phenomena are never seen before are unleashed. The pair and their competing teams find themselves squarely in the paths of multiple storm systems, converging over central Oklahoma in the fight for their lives.
This movie stars Daisy Edgar-Jones, Glen Powell, of course, Anthony Ramos, Brendan Bruda, Amara Tierney, and Harry Hayden Patton, and others.
Also Kiernan Shipka, and Katie O'Brien.
Yes.
Very slay.
Very slay. Very minor characters. But
very minor.
Very important.
Very minor.
This movie has a 3.5 rating on Letterboxd. And we did just see this movie, I kid you not, 30 minutes ago. So it is fresh in our minds.
Yeah.
Tara, what did you give this on Letterboxd?
I gave this a 3. I gave it a solid 3. Yeah.
I haven't done my Letterboxd review yet, but I'm fighting between a strong 2.5 and a light 3.
I think what makes this a 3 to me and not a 2.5 is how well this is shot.
That's true.
Really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the action. I feel like you can really feel Spielberg's touch in this as executive producer. Mm-hmm. More on the decisions you made later, Spielberg, though, because there was one you made that I would like to... We need to talk.
We
got to talk about it.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot to cover here. Let's talk about... Would you say you liked this movie more than you disliked it?
Yeah. Okay. I would say that.
Let's talk about what you didn't like, since it's a shorter list.
Okay. I want to start by saying I really love Twister. I feel like, I don't know if that's niche or not, but I really love that movie. I think it's so fun and so exciting, and I love Philip Seymour Hoffman, and it's such a good time.
I love him.
Things I didn't like about this movie. I feel an internal betrayal saying this, but I have to say that as the lead, Daisy Edgar-Jones did not do much for me. And that hurts to say, because I love her. I love Normal People. I love Fresh. But it just wasn't working for me. I wasn't convinced of kind of anything she was doing.
I do agree. I think that was the biggest drawback for me too. She's the main character of the story, and she feels lifeless in a lot of scenes, very uninteresting, or her performance feels flat. The way I described it to Tara was she's flat, not an awkward, in a Bella Swan way, and not a Lee Harker long legs awkward kind of way.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Bella Swan awkwardness really just lends itself to being dry and uninteresting. And Glen Powell really saves most of this movie.
Glen Powell's entire team saves the rest of this movie, because I can't say that Anthony Ramos was also doing anything that was rather interesting to me.
You're right.
I don't feel like that was a fully fleshed out character, and I don't know if that's, fault of the script or maybe fault of the performances. But right off of the bat in this movie, and, here we are going into spoilers, this is immediately a story about a woman who loses everything, gives up her passions because she's in this traumatic incident with her friends, loses her boyfriend, and you are supposed to believe, for the 122 minutes that this is a woman whose life has been altered by trauma. I didn't buy it. I mean, it doesn't even take much for her to be convinced to leave New York and head back into Oklahoma to chase storms with her only surviving friend, played by Anthony Ramos. I mean, it just wasn't convincing to me.
I agree. I think that what wasn't convincing is partially her performance, but also I think this goes to the story. And I think let's break it down here too. This is Twisters, and it's 122 minutes. And I feel like there are parts of this movie that could have been cut, and more context could have been added.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's part of why we don't feel that she was really traumatized by this. People are telling her throughout this movie wow, this is really fucked up what happened to you, all this stuff. But like, I don't feel the impact on her character really at all.
And to be fair, I think it's said to her like once and a half. Like everyone kind of skirts around the point, and you're like, damn, if this is somebody touched by trauma, I don't know. I feel like we're all just kind of dancing around it here. Like nobody wants to kind of say anything. Even her mom didn't say anything.
I agree. I think that's one of the major holes in this movie for me is it just feels like incomplete story-wise. As we mentioned with the like characters that passed away, like they get referenced briefly in the beginning, but then we never touch on it again. There's pretty much like the villain of the story is a realtor that is buying up the land that all of these people who are impacted from the tornadoes like are, you know, they have left. And so this realtor is like buying their land, and he's saying that like, oh, it's helping them. And Daisy Edgar-Jones' character Kate is saying like, don't you think that that's like just pretty much like feeding off of other people's trauma?
Yeah, that it's very predatory.
Right. But we never visit that like more in depth.
Nope.
Because Anthony Ramos' character works for him. And there's like a touch of like, and tell blah, 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 blah that I'm done, you know?
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
not fully fleshed.
No.
It's a little underbaked. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that interesting to me. And he spends, his character's name is Javi. He spends such a limited time being the antagonist that by the time you kind of finally wrap up to understanding that he is, it's over. And you're like, oh, okay. Anyway, back to Glen Powell and Daisy, because that's kind of all that is. And you kind of forget that Javi's even a character in the movie.
And Javi was like one of the only supporting characters that was there from the beginning.
Yeah. So I wasn't really fucking with that. It felt very empty to me. And I think that that's my biggest gripe, other than the fact that maybe I just wasn't super interested in what was going on.
Yeah.
That first hour was long as hell.
It was very
so long.
It was very long. There was a very like cat and mouse dynamic with Kate and Tyler at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was whatever. It was I don't know.
It wasn't very convincing again, and I don't want to blame Glen Powell for that, because I think he does make you interested in what's going on. But with Daisy, you're just kind of like, meep, meep, meep. I'm not really, what the fuck? I don't care. Like, I don't really care that much. She doesn't seem to care, so I don't know why I should care.
Yeah, they didn't really have chemistry.
No, they didn't. I wasn't really buying it, and I think that's crazy, because I will say that, like, we're kind of having a Glen Powell sance right now. We've got Hitman, we've got this, Anyone But You, and I know he's been casted in a few other things. He's having a fantastic year, and so I think it's crazy to be opposite him in a film and kind of not deliver, like, not convince me.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm making the mistake of watching this really close to watching Hitman, where I was like, damn, maybe I shouldn't be watching this. Like, you guys need some space. I'm interrupting.
Yeah.
And with this, I was like, oh, no, I can come right in. Like, y'all aren't even having a moment. In fact, I'm going to hop in this conversation if you don't mind.
Right.
Because I'm not even interrupting anything.
Yeah. So Daisy Edgar-Jones and Glen Powell's chemistry just really was not working. And we did talk about how Tara wishes there was a kiss at the end.
I do. And I read that was Spielberg's choice, that it would take away from Kate's story. Which I understand. I think that this whole thing is kind of about her releasing trauma and moving on from that. It's a 5-year gap between the beginning of the movie and like her decision to go back to Oklahoma and chase these storms. And you understand that she's kind of quit her job by the end of the movie and she's coming back to Oklahoma to do this full time. But I think because it was so flat, I would have enjoyed a kiss. Give me something. Oh my God, this is Prohibition? Like, Jesus.
I get that. In that same sort of vein, though, I feel like I'm glad that there wasn't a kiss because of the lack of chemistry.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, we have a little bit of differing opinions on that. But let's move into what you liked.
Glen Powell! It was Glen Powell for me.
Yeah, Glen Powell really made the movie. And when we say that he shined, he shiny.
No, just
He was so good.
No, the second he walked on screen, it's chemistry, it's charisma,
No,
just chemistry with the camera.
Also,
like,
it wasn't just us. There were a group of girls next to us, and they were like, ah!
No.
It
was not.
Y'all, when I'm saying that there's a scene of him in a white t-shirt and a cowboy hat in the rain.
Big one.
Okay, that was a fan service.
Yeah, he did that for us, actually. Like, he did his big one with the whole movie. And somebody else I would have loved to see more of was Brandon Perea. I really enjoyed how much homage he paid to Philip Seymour Hoffman in the original Twister. Just that kind of like stoner, goofy character. I really loved how much he went into that. And I know in interviews, Brandon Perea said that he didn't want to stress himself out with this role because he didn't think that that was something he could have lived up to. You know, there was no way he was going to touch, you know, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in the first movie. They're both not Philip Seymour Hoffman. No disrespect to Philip Seymour Hoffman, but Brandon Perea and Glen Powell, very sexy, very beautiful.
Yes.
Very charismatic. I really love Brandon in not Up. Us, not even us. Dude.
Nope.
Am I literally having an aneurysm?
Brandon Perea, nope.
You know why? It's because the house floats upwards, and so, or like they like pull it off the ground.
It's up because it's a house flying upwards, and then it's us because it's Jordan Peele. The movie is no.
Literally too much. I feel like I just played New York Times Connections inside my brain. I don't know what's going on in there. Anyway, I wish that we had seen more of him in Nope, and so I'm very happy that he was in this, but I wish that we had gotten more.
Yeah.
Just sexy and wonderful. Glen Powell steals the show. I loved all of the little moments that pay homage to Twister, all of the references to Wizard of Oz and Dorothy, which is like the tools that they use in the first one. I fucked with that. I loved it. Even the gas station scene where there's kind of like this tension between the unprofessional chasers and the weather people who have meteorology backgrounds and have grown up knowing this shit and lost people to this shit. I loved that. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. What did you like?
I liked Glen Powell. I liked the country music.
We love capybaras. No, soundtrack banged, actually.
Soundtrack did bang.
Shit was bumping.
Oklahoma.
Getting my yeehaw on, actually.
For real. I did like that. I mean, I liked a lot of the sets. I liked the cinematography, and that's really it for me.
Really? Yeah, cinematography was dope. I really liked that.
I don't know. I just, didn't connect to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first one is still a classic for me, and there's definitely a lot of moments where this went wrong.
I do have to say, though, I'm not a Twisters, fan.
Yeah.
Not like I'm a Twisters hater.
Yeah.
Not the way I hate Dune, but,
No!
Twister, I'm like, Twisters you can live. Twisters you can live.
I'm frowning.
And so I don't know. I just it's take it or leave it for me. It was fun to watch one time for the one time.
Oh, I'm not rewatching this.
Yeah.
But I did watch Twister the other night, and that has rewatchability. But this, I think I'm okay. I think if I really want to see a Twister, I will watch the first one. And if I want to see Glen Powell, I'll watch Hitman. And if I want to see Daisy Edgar-Jones at her best, or even showing up to set with something, I'll watch Normal People, which is great because then I can see Paul Mescal. So
yeah,
it's a win for everybody, really.
And if you want to see Brandon Perea, you watch Nope.
I watch Up. I watch Up, and then I watch Us. Eventually, I'll figure out what fucking movie he's in.
Yeah.
Jesus. I would like to see something with a lot more of him, though. I'm interested to see.
I think the marketing for this was pretty well done. There's some good hype, and I feel like a lot of people are talking about it right now.
Maybe a little too much hype, I'm not gonna lie to you. A little too much because my expectations were higher.
The 3.5 Letterboxd rating is crazy.
That's a little crazy.
I'm so sorry.
Are we just stuck in nostalgia? Maybe it just didn't work for us.
I love you, Cinema Joe, but what?
We love you, Cinema Joe. Love you
Joe,
down.
We love
David Elrich of IndieWire. Love you down, but 3.5 is a little crazy.
3.5 is a little crazy.
Nuts.
Someone on Tara's friend list gave it a 4.5.
Okay, ignore that person. That's the person who only watches La La Land, and they literally watch La La Land over and over and over again. God. I don't know if they'll ever hear this podcast. We're not friends in real life, but not even friends on Letterboxd actually. Anyway, I just like to read reviews from multiple people.
Yeah.
No.
It definitely has a lot of hype. Watch it if you want something fun to watch.
It's a fun blockbuster. I would say go watch this in 4D. while it's there.
I do have to say, I think if Tara and I watched this in 4D,
We would be coming out like Oscars.
we would have been like
Oscar
5
ready.
Five
Oscar
stars.
ready. Lee Isaac Chung did your big one with that.
Yeah, everything looked so. I saw the TikToks. Y'all looked like you were having fun.
No, because it was giving roller coaster.
Yeah,
It was giving like Disney
I
ride.
wanted that.
Yeah, me too.
And
Didn't really get that.
We didn't get that.
No.
If you're watching, like most people will, like in standard viewing, we saw it in a Dolby theater.
Yeah, that was cool.
But
That was cool.
Yeah.
If you're going to Cinemark, like you don't have that.
yeah,
So
sorry,
not another AMC stuff.
not another AMC stuff said. And you can subscribe to AMC A-List for just $24.99 a month. We will manifest this sponsorship till the day we die.
No, yeah. The real ones will know. They'll understand.
Yeah. But I think that, I feel like if we saw this in 4D, we would have been Twisters, Truthers, 2024.
I believe so. I think that this is a fun summer watch if
I think
you
so too.
can fit it in between episodes of Love Island, which I would say right now is the crazier watch. That's the most watched thing this summer. Did you know that?
God.
They like broke records. It's insane. It's like literally the most watched TV show.
Y'all, I
the
just started
entire
watching
summer.
it last night.
Fucking crazy. If y'all know, you know. What an insane season. And listen, not to pivot, but like US never has the juice. Okay, Love Island shooters, you know this.
Yes.
It's about UK, but they did their big one with this one. It's crazy.
US stepping it up?
No. I fear that this tops every UK season.
Okay, I can't wait to
Molly
finish
May
it.
and Tommy stand over there.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, not to be in some Love Island discourse, you guys. Go watch Twisters and then go watch Love Island. Tell me what you think is better.
Twisters is fun. It's, worth $25 admission. Would you say yes or no?
I would say that you need to see this in 4D. At least IMAX. At least IMAX for it to be worth it. Otherwise, wait for this to come to your house.
Yeah.
And if you want to see the magic of Glen Powell, go fucking watch Hitman. It's here. I don't know. Or watch Minari. That's by Lee Isaac Chung, and that's a much better movie.
Or subscribe to AMC A-List and then you can watch it for free.
3 movies a week, you guys.
3 movies a
Big
week.
shit. No Love Island, but still a big deal.
Yeah.
Still a big deal. All right. Thank you guys. As always, we'll see you next week.
Bye.